Hello everybody, so this time we're playing against a 2070 rating player, and I'm very happy because I have chance to play my beloved grunfeld defense with black. Always happy when this is happened. This happens. So we have the classical variation here. Let's play c5. Yeah, I think we will shortly... Whoa. I was just about to say that he will probably play bishop e3 and we will reach the main line, and suddenly he played this extremely weird move, bishop d5. I wonder whether this is a mouse slip or whether this was actually his intention to play this move. Because if you ask me, this is a very strange and frankly a bad move. So instead of developing a piece and defending his pawn, he is moving his bishop once again. Okay, let me just castle. Now bishop takes c6 is not really a threat because I just take back. Yeah. Now I can do a couple of things. First of all, I think I can take twice on d4 and then play the move e6. I wonder if this is any good. I can also play e6 immediately, but I kinda like it less. Let's take on d4. Let's try to punish him for his sins. You know, I took on c6. Now it's interesting because I can just take back, but I can also consider this intermediate move pawn to d3. Maybe even d takes c3 is possible. You know, my guess would be that d takes c3 is a very serious move here, which might be even winning. But somehow I'm afraid to get too kind of I doesn't want it to get too complicated. The most obvious move is just to take the bishop and be completely safe. Wondering what should I do. Can I just take on c6? I mean, that's the simplest move. And now I think I could just win a pawn, whether by c5 or bishop a6. Yeah, his move bishop d5 and bishop takes c6 were very weak in my opinion. I think bishop a6 just wins the pawn. Yeah, perhaps it's the simplest. Let's just take the pawn. And I will let him suffer for the rest of the game with the pawn down. Hey, he will play rook d1, but I can just reinforce my bishop on d4 with the pawn on c5, if needed also the pawn on e5. But after the game I must check what happened there, because somehow I have the feeling I had something better than what I did. Yeah, but just the pawn up, just the pawn up position, and it would be a very long way for him until he will reaches the draw, if he will reach the draw. Yeah, maybe I slightly rushed with the move queen b6. Now I'm considering whether to play queen to f6, play something else. Queen f6, he will take and play e5. It would be really embarrassing if I would lose the pawn so easily. Oh, come on. Oh, I also have queen d6. Yeah, probably that's the move. Now I can once again reinforce my pawn if I need. Yeah, he advances. He's also playing very fast once again. Playing fast is not so advisable. Let's put the queen in the center. Now I'm ready to support my pawn. I think I will just go for the position. Nope. I was thinking about going for the rook against 2. Yeah, I definitely misplayed it. It became much more difficult. I should have played queen c5 probably on the last move. Ah, Jesus. Yeah, let's try to imbalance the game a bit. Maybe I will lose, but that's the most combative way of playing, for sure. Now, let's double the rooks. Double the rooks, double the fun. Yeah, I completely misplayed it. Yeah, the position is not so clear right now. Probably white is okay. But he lets me penetrate to the second rank, in my opinion, way too easily. Now I can just move the rook and try to double. That's one idea. I can also first defend the pawn on a7. Okay, let's be solid. Let's just defend it, even though he'll play e6. Yeah. Damn it, why did I made it so difficult for myself? Oh, I also... No, I don't have queen. Okay. Displayed it for sure. Yeah, okay, let's defend the pawn. Whatever. On e6, I might have to move rook to c7. Yeah, only now figured it out. On e6, I will... But he's letting me penetrate to the second the second line very easily. Yeah, let's play rook c7. Let's play a prophylactic move. Now, if needed, I can always double my rooks. This queen is so annoying. She will always take my pawn. That's the sad thing. That's why I just place my king here. And now he's trying to get my pawn, but I don't think he will be able. And I think he blundered something. I can play this move. I'm not sure if he saw it. Now he's forced to play queen e1 if he wants to defend his pawn. He does not. Cannot I just take the pawn? Let me take it. If queen d4, I have f6, so I'm not worried at all. Yeah, now he's making the typical mistakes of making everything worse. So that's what happens to people a lot of times. So they make a mistake, and instead of being in damage control and trying to limit the damage, they kind of try to compensate for their mistakes and try to prove to their opponent that they have everything in control. But this move f4 is just horrible, just weakening his position even further. Okay, now black has... I think black should be winning here with this pawn advantage. Yeah, but I need to be careful. Still, nothing is easy in such position. I'm thinking just to play e5 and start advancing my pawns. What else can I do? I can also fix his pawn. That's an interesting idea. Yeah, let's getting low on time. Damn it. But yeah, let's be solid. Let's play. No, this is not a solid move. What? Why am I joking? Let's play the rooks, the defended squares. Now let's fix his position of his king. You know, my main problem is the time for sure. He played very fast, but kind of practical in a way. I think he played very badly the opening. Let's see who is this guy. The Russian guy. Yeah, I can always play this move rook c3 and take his pawn, but it's a bit risky because he's also taking my pawn. Let's go for the checkmate. Oh, I could play rook e2 immediately. Oh, damn it. Yeah, now I can play it. I think he missed it. Now I'm threatening rook c2 in some positions, and I have this checkmating ideas. I really wonder if he actually has anything to do to defend from it. Yes. Now I just defend. Once again renewing this threat. I think should be winning for me now. Now I'll probably try to play g4. Most likely. Oh, I should have played rook to c1. Oh. Yeah. Damn. Okay, how do I win? How do I win the most? I want to be very precise, but sometimes that's also my weakness. Yeah, let's put all of my cards on this passed pawn. Yeah, I think I will just push it. Oh, but he will take my pawn with a check. Damn it. Oh, I have an idea. Let me play this move. I'm not sure if it's the best idea, but at least now I will be very safe. Now I will play this check. And I will put my pawn on a6, and this way the rook will protect the pawn, and he will have no counterplay. Yeah, let's do it. Now I just need not to blunder my rook with a check somehow. It's very possible when he has a queen. But I think my king is safe enough. My two weaknesses, which is my pawn here and my pawn here, are protected by the rooks. Now I don't see any threat by him. Or maybe he wants to push his pawn. But I have no time. Okay, pawn. We'll pre-move this move. I hope the pawn will do the job. I hope he doesn't have any perpetual checks. Now if he takes the rook, I can promote. I have only 10 seconds. That's the main problem. Oh, he takes the rook. He plays for a win. This is very risky by him, but I actually have no problem playing along. I have some experience in time travel. I think he made a very risky decision going for this position. Oh, let me take the queen. No, but I will win this, I have enough time. Yeah, my time kills me again. I'll take the last pawn, so just to be completely safe. Now I will demonstrate my amazing pre-move abilities. I have only 4.3 seconds, but you know, that is more than enough for me. I just pre-move every move. You see, I don't... Yeah, well, let's just try to checkmate him. Now I should have checkmate on the next move. Yeah, that's checkmate. Yeah, so this was a very intense game. But I have to see what happened in the opening. I mean, I think the rest was not so important. I blundered later on. But I think they was move bishop d5. An extremely bad one. Yeah. I think the computer will... Yeah, he's already giving me a small advantage. After the move bishop d5. Now takes. I'm wondering if my tactic works here. So I plan to take and to play e6 with the idea to gain the bishop pair. But as usual, the computer is not too impressed, saying that after bishop a3, taking, yeah, I didn't see that one. He says that white is fine, but perhaps black is also fine. So he took on c6, and now interestingly, what computer think of this? It's not good because of bishop, queen takes, and bishop a4, and c2, attacking the rook. He's just playing some move with the bishop, and is regaining it. Okay, understood. And if d3, he's saying it's slightly better for black, but yeah, bishop b takes is much simpler. Yeah, and we got to this position. Oh, but now came my real mistake. Should have played... Oh yeah, pawn to c5. I just automatically rejected this move because I thought that white can like sacrifice the exchange here, but this is not an exchange. This is a full rook, because I also take the knight here. This very important detail I forgot. Yeah, after c5, I think white is dead lost here, because I will take his pawn, but this is a big difference from the game. I will take with my pawn, and something like this, and now I'm creating myself a strong fast pawn with the gain of tempo on his bishop. Yeah, this looks winning. But yeah, I made it that much more difficult when I went to this position. Now I made another couple of mistakes in a row. Yeah, I think this move queen d5 was just a big mistake, and I think, even though computer says I'm still better in this position, but I think in practical games it's kind of not so clear if black is really better here, even though the computer prefers black's position slightly here. Yeah, and somehow I managed to trick him. And you see now this move f4 is such a bad move. Just completely weakening this pawn, and at the end of the day this pawn just dropped. I think from here it's quite easy. So this was an interesting game, at least some parts of it. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.